Oh, yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
In the morning.
Put that little vocal on that funk track. I like that.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
In the morning.
Hey.
First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, team. Time to get up, move your body. Decide you're going to feel good. Feel good today.
You know what day it is.
You know what day it is. You guessed it. You was right. Hey. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Ladies and gentlemen. I got the date right. Yes, I do. Do I got the date right?
Yeah. It looks good. Looks good. 23.
It is. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you, Chat Chimers, all of you Ghost listeners, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, January 18th, 2023.
Man.
Can't
even say 2D2 anymore.
Can't say 2D2 is gone.
Yeah.
We got a good morning from Wanda Lewis. What's happening, Wanda Lewis? Good morning to
Hey.
you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Let me make sure that everything's working on this side here. I'm trying to see. Looks like she's coming in on Facebook. Okay, what's happening? Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Let me know what's going on YouTube as well. And YouTube listeners out there, let us know if that's running right. There we go. Leah Keister says, what's up, Women's Wednesday? Yeah.
Yep.
It's going down. So you know what it is. We're going to have Precious Mckesson Politicin with P in today. And also what's good in the hood. Talking to Kimara Snipes. The ladies are back. Just like we are for season 5 right now. So thanks for joining us. Yeah, I already got word from the 6:30 crew this morning. I appreciate you guys up and checking us out. Right on, Beth. She says your 6:30 crew is back. Loving the music. Hey. Appreciate that. Just want to remind everybody we do have a radio channel, 24/7 celebration of black music happening on First Sky Omaha, the radio channel. Just go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, and you can check that out. And you can also if you have Alexa, you can also tell Alexa to play First Sky Omaha Radio, and it will. So there you go. Kimara Snipes is already up and early with us. Good morning, y'all. She says, morning. Pops in the house. Good morning, all. I'm having troubles with YouTube. Back here for now. Yes, Women's Wednesday. Okay. Troubles with YouTube. I wonder if that is...
What type of troubles?
Yeah, looks like Kimara and Leah Keister are on YouTube, so we got it in. Maybe it's just happening over at Pop's house. So, yeah, appreciate you, man. That's why we went ahead and kept it on Facebook too. Got to have a couple access points here, obviously. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Chrissy Norris says good morning. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you. Love it. The First Sky fam coming on in the house. Chat Chimers, how you doing today, buddy?
Man, hanging in there. A little tired, but feeling good. Feeling good this morning. Looking forward to the day. Looking forward to speaking to the ladies, as always. Excited for Women's Wednesday. Should be another doozy. First Women's Wednesday of the season, so of the year, really. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Also got some things, to talk about. We have some questions for the people today, so I'm actually looking forward to hearing what the people have to say and, maybe getting some clarity on some things. If you will. So definitely excited about that. And as always, just happy to be here talking with the people. It's always good to touch the people. So yeah. Top of the morning to you.
That's what's up.
Yeah, how
Appreciate
you
you coming
doing?
on. Oh, hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Like, just anxious about like the new changes that's gonna happen this season. Anxious about, well, not really anxious, but just anticipating a lot that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Changes at the theater, changing with the job. There's a lot of movement happening right now. I'm just trying to make sure that I keep my head afloat on all that, and see what's happening there. So that's what's up. Mark Manner gives us a good morning over on YouTube. Amy Huffler says good morning. Appreciate you joining us this morning as well on this Women's Wednesday. Like I said, Precious and Kimmer are back.
Yep.
It is Women's Wednesday here on First Sky Omaha. We can't wait to speak to them. We had a little preliminary dinner last week where we all went out and talked about stuff that's happening. It's funny. I'm thinking we just gonna go have a chill meal, catch up, just a little thank you for the work that they've been doing with us and everything. And man, as soon as we sat down, it was like a First Sky Omaha show. We was talking
Can't turn it
politics.
off.
Can't turn it off. So many things to talk about. Like I said over the break, there were so many things that happened, so many decisions that got made and stuff like that that we had been anticipating. That it was just like, how can you not talk about it? It's a trip. So yeah, I'm anxious to recap some of those things that we started talking about at that dinner, and really kind of dig in and get into it. We got a Miss K who says, "Good morning, fam. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you." Yeah, Kimber knows what I'm talking about. We was having a good old time.
Cutting up. Cutting up. One thing I am excited from that dinner is the return of Michelle, and looking forward to her soapbox moments.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So we're working on that. She's actually going to do some taping of the soapbox moments. We're going to record her and be able to kind of spread that around a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to that. Like we need more pieces like that on social media and stuff like that out there. So she's really going to do that. Plus, the ladies also talked about maybe possibly doing a roundtable event as well, so they can do a recording of them discussing the issues, and we can also be pushing that out as well. So lots going on, man. Good morning to you too, Kimmer. Appreciate you. I know you throwing some sunshine out there, but supposed to snow
Mm.
all day today.
Yeah, I heard
Six
heard a
six to
couple
8 inches.
inches. Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, not happy about that. I mean, it ain't even started yet, and I'm already not happy.
Man. Hey, you better cheer up and hit the store while you can.
Oh, I did that yesterday. As soon as they announced it might be something, I was like, I might be staying in for the next few days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Definitely check on your elderly, check on your beast of the field.
Yeah, most def. Um, like Buddy was talking about here, we got a lot of things we're gonna talk about today, but we also want to hear from you. What's some of the stuff that's in the news that you feel is relevant to us, to our communities? Some of the evergreen stuff that we've been talking about as well. If you got any updates on anything, let us know. Put it in the chat. We appreciate everybody that goes to Friends of First Sky Omaha and drops nuggets over there as well, because that's where we get a lot of the stuff that we know we need to be talking about. So everybody who's been contributing over there, really appreciate that very much. So lots of stuff going on in the news, man. We still need to talk really about the bill LB 1024. We're reaching out to some of the brothers senators and everybody to kind of come through and talk a little bit more about those things too. This change in government that's just happening, with Pillin, this whole thing with Pillin that is firing up with Ricketts in the Senate seat he's getting appointed. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that is directly affecting what it is that we do, and what we talk about, and some of the things we've talked about in previous seasons for sure. So love to hear your input on that. If you have any other things to bring to the forefront about any of the news and just in general, what it is that you feel like is relevant to us right now, we'd love to hear from you on that
Definitely,
for sure.
definitely. Of course, I'll also be hopping into some housing situations. Kind of touched on it on Monday. Big conversation going on with the towers, and of course, what happened at Legacy Crossing, which was one of the big, things that I caught wind of during the break. As far as when that happened, it was like, man, that's a crazy situation. And now a possible repeat of that happening with the towers and the filled water and bed bugs and things. So definitely. I'd love to hear your input on that, and we'll be discussing that pretty heavily throughout the day. And yeah, as Paul mentioned, if there's anything going on in your worlds, anything that we're not discussing, as always, feel free to let us know. Let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. That has not changed, that we are here to have a conversation, but beyond that, come down to some actionable items, try to move the people. Again, we don't just want to be two talking heads on the screen. We want to have influence. We want to make each other's lives better in whatever way that we can. So yeah, we're going to talk about how to do that as well. So again, we'd definitely love to hear about all of you. All right, more so hear from all of you. Also, tell a friend and tell a friend, man. We are still looking to expand. We are still looking to grow. I'm still a believer that word of mouth is, one of the best ways to promote something. People, you can trust the ad, but people don't trust anything like they trust their friends. So again, tell a friend and tell a friend. Come on through, check us out. There's still a lot of people who have not heard about us. So again, please spread the word or assist us in spreading the word. And yeah, without further ado, about 15 minutes into the thing, give or take, you want to get the show on the road?
Yeah, yeah. And before we do though, I just want to make mention like we if you saw the headlines this morning on this, we know there's some things we want to talk about right now, and that has to do with what kind of action that we can take. That's really what this whole thing is about, is the action that we can take, and also what's going on with us as far as the value that we're trying to bring to North Omaha. But he mentioned, there's a whole lot of people that don't really even know we exist. Are we making a big enough impact, and do we making a big enough difference? What happens when we're not around? Where does everybody go to get their information and to talk these things out? There's a lot of questions that I have for people after looking at the results of Bill 1024 and talking to a couple constituents. I'm back in that mode right now where I'm wondering, like, how much value is First Sky Omaha actually bringing? What are we doing? Do we need to shift? And of course, if I got questions like that, I'm going to bring it to you, our co-hosts, the chat chimers. So yeah, we're thinking about really trying to get into this thing and discuss some things as well when it comes to even the status of what's going on here and what we can do, and some calls to action. We're definitely going to make some calls to action today because the legacy crossing situation was one thing. We got things posted in Friends of First Sky Omaha talking about the heroes of that situation. The tower situation is getting ready to be even worse. There's more people, more people involved, more situations where where will these people go if they have to leave out of these towers in order to get these bed bug situations taken care of and all that. Do we need to put some things in motion now to help support, because if you in the towers, you can't afford what they say, quote unquote, affordable housing is all about. So calls to action is going to be today. It's going to be a little different show today than it usually is, because we have some big headlines right here in our own neighborhoods that are not being featured in the mainstream media right now, and that's another thing that we're here to do. So we're definitely going to do that. Kimara Snipes says she can't wait to share with y'all my experience testifying at the rules hearing last week. These senators are out of control.
Mm.
Can't wait to talk about this. Wanda Lewis said Pillin spoke yesterday about education reconstruction. Did anyone catch it? I missed that. Read the articles this morning about what he's talking about doing. I didn't see the what he spoke on, but yeah, they're really laying it out. Marianne
Yeah.
Williams says morning all. It's difficult to say, but Pillin appears to be delivering what Dems have been asking for in terms of education funding. But we shall see. This could be a great thing, but he's also pushing to eliminate the Board of Ed, ending CRT, whatever that means, and being just plain cruel to trans kids. That's what I got from the article as well. I'm like, okay, we did need more money here, so let's see what's happening. So
When strings are attached.
yes, yes. So a few things to talk about here, lots to talk about, and again, this is going to be a little bit of a different show this time around because we definitely need to consult with you. So everybody that you know that's a chat chimer, that's a friend of First Sky Omaha that's not on yet, hit them up, give them a call, tell them to come on. We got some things we got to talk about as a fam about the state of First Sky Omaha and about what we can take action on. And we'll jump into that when we get back from the intro. But yeah, thank you everybody who's here and joining us now. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and let's go ahead and get this party started. Going
Hey.
down. First Sky Omaha in the morning. First Sky Omaha. Paul B. Buddy the God. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I cut
And
off
you
your.
just
We're gonna
just
roll
go,
right
just
over
go,
it.
just go.
I gotta hear it though, man, because you putting that Luther Vandross on that in the morning these days.
Yeah,
First Sky
man, you gotta
Omaha
gotta
in
feel it.
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Man, look, the vibrato in the voice and everything is
Come
going
on,
down.
man.
What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy Luther Vandross. Here, and all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, thanks for joining us this morning. Is really encouraging that everybody is getting up on this weird cold morning and joining us. For again, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell the fam, tell the
Man.
fam. If you see people on here that's not on here yet, tell them to come on. We got some things to talk about with the family today. Some things that are heavy on our hearts and very, very concerned about. If we do not have a situation here where we're able to take some action and help some situations out, then don't quite know what to do about that. I actually reached out to Brother Kasim yesterday, and we're gonna get busy on some other stuff. But I'm ready to have a conversation with him about some of these things too, man. Taking action on some of the things that are happening here in our neighborhoods that is news, even if it's not front page news anywhere else. The situation with the towers, we all have family. We all got family. We got friends. We got people. It's our people in these towers, and they're suffering. No water. You know, they finally got the water back on the other day. Bed bug situation. I know that you guys saw that video on Friends of First Sky Omaha of the actual bed bugs that's happening in there.
Yeah.
Hot mess. Kimara Snipes already is talking about it. She says, "My father lived in Evans Towers. I asked him if he needs to live out to." She probably said, "Move out," because I'll be damned. I heard that. That's what I'm saying. Like we got family. We got family in these places. There was a news article. There was something on the news about a young lady who had to come in from out of town because nobody was really helping her father out.
Mm.
She had to come. She came in to get him out of that situation. And then I talked to a friend of First Sky Omaha that said they got a couple friends that are veterans, or a friend that is a veteran, and he might be the only one to get saved because they have a place that they can take this brother here, because he has there's another place where some veterans are at, and he can possibly get that person over there. But I haven't heard about anybody else, any situations here that sounds like there's a solution here, that there sounds like people are going to get helped. I haven't heard nothing from OHA on this situation. What's Miss Juanita Johnson, who gave us a call the other day, that wanted us to come to the press conference that she was having about this. Did she have the press conference? Did anybody see Juanita Johnson talking about that? I know that she told us that she was going to be talking about the water situation there, but there was also, she informed me about the bed bug situation. That's the first I heard it was from her, as a matter of fact. And so, what happened there? What's going on there? Are they working with the senators? There's so many questions that we have about the situation with the towers, which I feel like is top news in our neighborhoods right now. And there's not enough attention being given. It doesn't feel like there's enough help happening there. Is there emergency funds? If you're living in the towers, then you probably don't have many more options, and you especially won't be able to afford affordable housing. What they are calling affordable these days. So that's what we're here. We're here to discuss that. We're here to try to figure this out. We're here to try to work with you guys on figuring out a plan. What can we do? So anyway, that's what's on my mind and heart this morning. Like we were saying, please let us know what's on your mind and hearts this morning. We do. There's several subjects and things going on out there that are in headlines that we can be reading. We can be discussing as well, that all tie into some of these things that we're talking about: education, housing, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, shout out to Brianna Full. She put something in Friends of First Sky Omaha, informing us about these bills that are getting passed about affordable housing. Definitely tie some of those things in.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, what are we going to do? What are we doing now? So I'll start with you, buddy. You got any thoughts on any of these things?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for me, my thoughts go back to I say now 2.5 years ago when we were at Minus Soul. And again, that's mind you, a couple years ago, because again, the Minus Soul Tower, our radio antenna was located on top of one of the towers. It was on top of the Benson Tower. And I just remember going in, having to go in there and just seeing the conditions. I mean, again, that was just about 2 years ago at the height of the pandemic. And um, elevators barely working, door. I mean, it's obvious that these places need to be renovated. And that's where my mind is. The city, the state, the county just got hundreds of millions of dollars. Housing has obviously been an issue, and we've heard about a lot of the money that's going out to nonprofits and other people, other entities. But again, this the Omaha Housing Authority. Like, Omaha is responsible for these towers. Why hasn't any of this money, or I haven't heard any of this money being discussed or planned or earmarked to renovate these buildings? So that's kind of where my mind is. Why hasn't there been any real discussion about renovation? And it's been 2 years. Like, it's been 2 years.
it's been longer than that, man.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about since the pandemic and since hundreds of millions
Right.
of dollars have come in to the city. And still, where is the plan of renovating these places? Like, obviously, these places need to be renovated if you're having water issues and bed bug issues, and that's just to say the least. I mean, rats, mice, stairs, elevators barely working. And again, mind you, a lot of the people who live in the towers are elderly. So, the last thing you want is to live on the 12th floor and the elevator not working.
Yeah.
That's kind of the surface level where my mind is, as far as, why aren't these being renovated? And then beyond that, what other options do they have?
Yeah.
It's not really many options. So what can people do? It's kind of a case by case basis, I guess. If you have family members that live in there, have you considered, allowing them to move in? But again, what is that a short, like, what's the long term solution?
Yeah. Or well, right now I feel like the call to action is because of having to take some kind of action on things now,
Mm-hmm.
right now, which is different than trying to come up with a long term solution. I think it logically thinking about this, they're going to have to go somewhere, and they're going to probably go with no with not a lot of personal items as well. I mean, if you have a room full of bed bugs, they're going to end up having to trash a bunch of stuff, burn a bunch of stuff. So you'll have people that are going to be out beds that have to be out of those places. Where do they go? Um, what can be done? How many people are in towers? We need some data. Like, how many
Mm-hmm.
people are in these towers? What towers are affected? Um, say we're gonna take the time today to come up with a plan. Chrissy Nora is already on some. She says, "I have a call out to the budsman." So thank you. Yeah, thanks for having that, getting the call out, trying to find out what's going on. I put a call out to OHA last week. Didn't really get a call back on that yet. But I'd like to hear a little bit more from them. It'd be worth it to hear from Miss Juanita Johnson again, who was gonna, who was gonna have a press conference on this and chime up on it. So we'll see. There's got to be people who are what services are there out there too? What services? So we're not reinventing the wheel. What services are already out there that are gearing up for helping this situation out? Ariel's 402 in the house. What's going on? Mayor Sanchez says the only solution to the apartment problem is for the tenants to leave everything and move out. They could be condemned soon.
Where
Man,
did
if
they go?
the towers get condemned, that seems like a major, that's a major situation in our neighborhoods. That's major. You're right, because where do they go? That's the question. There's like you said, a lot of elderly there, a lot of people who have mental health issues, a lot of people
Mhm.
that don't have family. I tell people all the time, I live right across from the Benson Tower. I'm every day I'm seeing what that is. I'm seeing people who are having mental health crisis and stuff like that, walking around the blocks, and shuffling back over to the towers when it gets too cold. Bad situations. Kimara Snipes says, "Thank you, Christy. I'd love to hear more. Y'all should get Cammie Watkins on." That's the third time I heard Cammie Watkins' name in this past week on some things. We definitely will have love to have her back on the show. She was appointed by the mayor to Omaha Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. Okay, cool. So that's we'll definitely reach out to Cammie Watkins. She's a friend of First Sky Omaha. Wanda Lewis said people in the towers are afraid to speak out due to possible eviction.
So there's some intimidation and fear.
Kimara Snipes says they also have a resident rep on the board who I believe is the daughter of Lavanya Goodwin from the BID. Okay. Let me shut my mouth. Wanda Lewis says cost of rent won't allow them to live anywhere else. They can't afford it. Right. That's the deal. I told the story the other day when I was looking for housing. I went and talked to some folks and kind of told them what my income was. They were like, you should look at the towers. That's about all we can do for you. That's kind of the last place that you can go if it's like that. I don't even know what the situation is. Where do you get assistance? Or do people get assistance to stay there, or is the rent just cheap? I really don't even know what the situation is. I just know that people, there's a lot of people who I had some family members in there that was like, yeah, when I get my money up, I gotta get out of here, and that's really the extent of what we talked about with it.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody necessarily want to live in the towers?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a last resort spot. I don't want to talk about nobody's house, but nobody's living situation. But it feels like where do you go if you can't go to the towers? If you don't have a place there, where do you go? What can you afford to? Where can you afford to go? I don't, like I said, I don't know the situation all the way, so I don't know if they're getting assistance. I don't know what's happening there. It could just be, I don't know, but all I know is this situation that just happened with the other spot where Legacy Crossing, where they were just out. They just had to be out, and all of a sudden you had people that had to show up with trucks and donate storage space and find places for people to go. That's what I'm afraid of happening with this situation. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. Why are they allowed to? Are they still in there with the bed bugs? Like,
yeah, and somebody in the chat mentioned last episode on Monday that people are being hospitalized behind these bed bugs. Like these people are really being attacked by these bed bugs. It's not just a nuisance, or it's a real infestation that people are having to live with. To what extent is the Omaha Housing Authority responsible, or to what extent does it become a health hazard? To what extent does it become a situation where it has to be condemned? And again, before it gets there, what plans are being made, and is it really up to us to come up with the plan?
well, yeah, and that goes to what I want to talk about the second half of this show, which is the work that First Sky Omaha is doing. What are we making any kind of a difference? I do know that one of the themes that we have going on with us in this show in our First Sky Omaha family is we can't wait on these people to do nothing for us. We got to come up with our own plan and take care of our own stuff because fighting to get people to act right is a full-time job, and sometimes it serves us better to just go ahead and come up with something on our own. They had to do it with the legacy situation. That was north and south Omaha folks that went and helped it and helped them people with their move out of there. So you know it's no, I don't think, we're definitely in a situation where they need to, I mean, that's Omaha Housing Authority is Omaha. There's a city entity. Why are we here? Why is that not, why are we discussing what we're going to do to help these folks? But we are, because that's what it is. First of all, they're low income people that living in North and South Omaha. So number one, how much is anybody, any of the powers that be, looking out for them in the first place? We just walked into the situation acting like, well, they're not gonna help nothing. If they let the situation get to the point where there's no water and there's bed bugs everywhere, then they ain't done nothing. What have they been doing in the first place? Ariel's 402 said there's no profit in renovating.
Big facts.
Kimara Snipes says, and HUD got hella millions flowing through the city.
Where's it going?
Somebody told me that Legacy Crossing people, some of those people were HUD people, and those people, which was only 7 or 8 of them, got helped. They took care of their HUD took care of their situation. What's Omaha Housing Authority doing? Areas 402 says you can't renovate the building to the extent if tenants are still living there. That's true. Amy Hutfler's got a good idea. Maybe you can help us with this, Miss Amy Huffler. She says, I heavily rely on breaking news notifications on my phone to keep up with what the pulse of what's happening nationally. Flash notifications. It would be cool to have a First Sky call to action app. Yes, definitely something that we need to be talking about, need to be implementing for sure, because we got to get down to that. We're questioning whether or not, right here, let me just put it out there what it is that I have a question about right now. After reading the reports for LB 1024, after everybody who read it saw that we applied and didn't get any funds, I stepped back to look and see what was happening. I'm very, very grateful for everybody who donates to the cause, the chat chimers. We put in our own money here. You guys put in your own money, and we try to make this thing happen. But the sustainability is only going to come when we have uh, uh, people who are donating to the cause. Bigger sums of money coming in. Just plainly. There's been some foundations that have helped, but this year they've all really cut back. And that's been a little bit of an issue. We're kind of trying to build this out and build our livelihoods and build our business on being able to do what we're doing here. But so we have to reassess all the time anyway. What real impact are we making here? You already know we say this all the time. We're not just going to be two talking heads sitting here. We do something that nobody else is doing. First of all, involving all of you, the chat chimers, in the conversation as co-hosts. What we are talking about is led by the things that are on your hearts and minds that are subject to our neighborhood. So we're doing the best we can to keep these things afloat. But if $350 million can come into North Omaha and they don't see the value in us trying to provide Black media in order for us to tell these stories and do these things, it makes me wonder what's happening. It makes me decide, okay, should we put more energy in boots on the ground action than trying to explain why the boots on the ground action is necessary? Should we do half? What should we change up to be more effective? Because if the powers that be that are running North and South Omaha don't see the value, if we have a limited number of citizens, of people, of friends, and stuff that see the value, and we can't expand past that. I've had a lot of conversations this past couple of days with people that are heavy in the community, didn't know we existed, asking me what happened to Mind and Soul. So where do we go from here? And we've always put this out there that we wanted to be an organization that can talk these things through, figure these things out, figure out what to do together, and then take some action on some things. And I'm really feeling that right now because I'm really mad about what these people got to go through at the towers. What do we got to organize down there? Do we need to put a call out for places to stay? Do we need to put a call out to find out how many people need help? How many people are in the towers? What can we do? Wanda Lewis says, I've directed the family to the ACLU. She's saying, which family are you talking about? Let me go up here. Costa, I'm not seeing what family you're talking about, but yeah, ACLU definitely needs to be involved. I feel like this is a situation. What is, I hate to say it. I don't like. I'm not quick to say let's sue these people and so on and so forth. We got friends and family that work at OHA too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe their hands are tied. I did hear underground on the street that a couple of people that work for OHA was saying, call the what's the organization that polices? They were basically like, bust us. Call the board, call the board of whatever. I can't even remember what they were saying to call, but they were like, these are violations. So maybe their hands are tied. I mean, who knows? Everything goes back to the mayor. Mayor makes all these decisions on all these things.
Yeah, which
So
kind of rounds back around to what you're saying about what is our value. Definitely looking at LB 1024 and the fact that we did not get a dime, a dime of that, 350 or so $1 million that came in. Is that because we're not doing anything, or is that because we're doing too much? As far as holding the powers that be accountable, asking the questions that need to be asked, having the conversations that need to be had. Um, are we seen as a thorn? Is that why we're not getting any money, or what? And I don't want to. I feel like personally we have value as far as what we're doing. Oh,
yeah,
there's a reason that I'm motivated every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to wake up. At the wee hours of the morning to prepare to do this and to continue to do it. And I'm happy to and looking forward to continue doing it. But yeah, that is a real question. What is the value? How can we be most effective? Not even what is the value, but how can we be most effective? And what it is that we're trying to do, which is provide a voice to the community, and beyond provide a voice to the community, have that voice be heard and have that voice make an impact.
I keep going back to this idea. Amy Huff was talking about this First Sky call to action app. Um, we've done this a few times, a couple times, especially when it comes to donating to causes. And people in Friends of First Sky Omaha have stepped up. We like, hey, this person needs some help. Let's here's the meal app, and here's their cash app and everything else. Like, help, let's put something together and help these folks out. We're doing that right now for Just B's family, because of the tragedy that happened with the fire and everything that happened with them. So we're trying to, and I see that action all the time. I see people in the chat and Chad Chimers and Frizz First Sky Omaha that take that call to action. They help. They do as much as they can. I would love to have a bigger group and do more. That's really, that's why we say tell a friend all the time, because if we got like minded people and we got more people, then when we donate $10 here, $20 here, or $50 here on something, then it just that's that much more help. But there's also other kinds of help, feet on the ground help. Mayor Sanchez is always talking about that kind of stuff. He's talking about supplies that he can help get for people. He took T-shirts down to the brothers over at the BAA, and things that on behalf of First Sky. He took some gloves and some stuff down there for them. So I mean, we can do more of that kind of stuff. We definitely want to. We can't stop doing what we're doing because it takes this discussion and understanding first. But what how can we get to the action part? How can we team up with people at the Culture House and more? And how can we team up with people who are like the BAA and people that are on the feet on the ground kind of action as well? What can we do? How can we organize that at the very least? Christy Norris says, I'm in senior living. This will suck because of cost. Yeah. Ariel's 402 says, possibly OHA could be neglecting the build so people will move and they can do what they want with the property. Wouldn't put it past them. Wanda Lewis says, they go by your income. Some are paying more than $500 monthly. Okay, so it's that sliding scale income thing that you got to put all your information out there about all the money that you make or don't make, and then they put you on a scale, and then you pay what you can or something like that. Wanda Lewis said parasite infection. I think that's what some of those people are hospitalized for.
Man,
Wanda Lewis says OHA was quoted saying that if you don't like it, you can leave, and it's not their responsibility. It's the tenants. They won't let them out of their leases.
yeah. I mean, again, we don't want to go as far as just be incendiary. I think is the term. Like, we don't want to just jump off a ledge and be like, we should sue everybody. But yeah, we are asking questions, and why are these? And it's always the case. I mean, look at what was the former Tommy Rose? What is it called? The apartments on Lake Street that the it was like 2 years now. I guess they had like the mold and the rats.
Oh yeah, you're talking about where the Korean people were at, and they
Yep,
all
yep, yep, yep. I know it as Tommy Rose. For those who grew up in Omaha, you know what I'm talking about. The old Tommy Rose apartments. Like, how does the poorest, the poor, end up in these slum type situations? And it's really the same question we've been asking, like who is overseeing this stuff, and who should be held accountable. I want names. I want names. Like somebody mentioned, they're calling out the ombudsman. Who is the ombudsman? What's their name? Who is this person? How can we reach them? Should more people call out to the ombudsman?
I'm glad you know how to say that word better than me. Does somebody need to call my ombudsman? Ombudsman. Von Chapman in the chat. Good morning. He says the formula to qualify for so-called affordable housing is exposed when people who need affordable housing in the community can't afford housing. Right? Who is affordable housing for, if not for the people in the towers? That's the question.
That's the question.
That's the question.
You know, how can you make 3 times the rent when you aren't making anything?
Wanda Lewis says the city doesn't want to deal with issues in their own backyard. Well, that's and again,
what is the city dealing with?
We know that. We saw that. That's why we do what we do, because we have to. We've come in with this situation like, well, we'll just take care. We'll just handle it then, because that was kind of our attitude. Like, okay, oh, they're not going to tell the news, right? Okay, well, we'll come in and we'll talk about what's going on in our neighborhoods if they're not going to, if that's not going to be a big enough deal. Christy North says accountability. We need to demand it. That is, it is a theme that we're tossing around for season 5, holding people accountable. Maybe that's our purpose. They don't want to. The city and the powers that be don't want to assist us doing what we're doing, and I've heard from some of the chat chimers that's why, because we're here trying to hold folks accountable and uncover stuff that they don't want uncovered.
Yeah, that's what Tough Anderson is saying in the chat also, saying because you're not kissing up to the powers of the city. It's possibly why we did not get some funding.
Yeah, we definitely did not. Our plan was not along the lines of the North Omaha plan that they got going on. Not exactly. And I think a lot of people who don't see the value in what it is that we're trying to do is it has to do with the fact that we're here to figure something out, man. Like, not just fire people up, but like get to clear something, make things clear, and then take action on those things at once that's happening. And everybody, in one way or another, we're all kind of doing it in our own personal lives anyway. We're trying to organize this a little bit. Ariel's 402 says the city decides to condemn a building, there should be a resource available. First, a few buses, hotels for families, a few U-Haul type trucks, instead of tossed in your lap situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There seems like there should be a fund ready for that if you ever have any kind of infestations or any kind of anything that people need to get out now because of, or the pipes freeze or anything. It seems like there should be a fund or something that can help for city if you live in a city building, then why isn't there any assistance there? Why would people say this is not like Wanda Lewis said? OHA was quoted as saying that if you don't like it, you can leave, and it's not their responsibility. It's the tenants, and they won't let them out of their leases on top of that. Von Chapman says, where are those who got 1024 monies with regard to the victims in the tower?
It's a good question. It's a good question. There are some affordable housing projects that's going to be coming out of that, but yeah, who's going to qualify for that? What are the stipulations? Yeah, is there a certain priority?
Christy North says there is two whole ass hotels that could be renovated close to my house.
Who's gonna pay for it?
Wanda Lewis says the elderly gentleman that was removed by his family still has to pay rent, even though he won't be going back, bounded by a lease.
Yeah.
So we were telling that story a little earlier in the day. We were saying that the sister that came out from another state to remove her dad out of that situation, and that was in the news. That was a story. She came from a whole other state because the situation's so bad over here. She had to drive over here and get him out. And now we're getting more to that story. Still got to pay rent. Marianne Williams says there are plenty of laws on the books to protect residents from this stuff, but they're not being enforced. What's the point of laws and regulations if they won't enforce them? The owners of the towers have probably received PPP funding. Forgot about that. In addition to HUD funds, and someone needs to be looking into the misappropriation of those funds.
So we still following the money. We still
Yeah.
following the money.
Want
It's
to lose?
just,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to go as far as condemning people and throwing rocks and stones, but at the same time, this has to be. It's something. It just feels very insidious. It feels very criminal about what's going on, and it's just how do people end up in these situations and then not giving an out? Like the fact that, okay, let's say that Omaha Housing Authority didn't do anything, but the fact that they're holding people to these leases, people who obviously don't want to live in these deplorable conditions and are taking it upon themselves to try to do something, and they're still being held accountable. They're still being held into a lease. There's what is the lease agreement? Can we get a copy of these tower lease agreements? What's in that?
I mean, I assume this is standard agreement, but there's got to be something in there, some clause in there that if the conditions are a certain way, oh man, I mean, it's the city. They're supposed to be taking care of folks. Wanda Lewis says, I refer to families to the ACLU because OHA won't let those tenants out of their leases. That doesn't make sense. Von Chapman says it's all about control and priority. Okay, I hear that. Brianna Full in the house. Good morning to you. She's on YouTube. She says you didn't get money this time around, but you scored well, and the North Omaha Senators are asking for more money this year, so there is still hope for y'all. Good thing we're not dependent on that.
Right.
Tough, yeah. You already said Tough Anderson because you're not kissing up the powers of the city. Yeah, not doing that. Amy Huffa says, "What if we put together a volunteer-based task force for First Sky? Meet, organize, unite our individual efforts." This is what I'm trying to get to. Maybe that's the deal. Tough says, "Sorry, Brianna. And many know there is no hope for those this year. The senators are blowing smoke screen because some started to complain." Hmm. Okay. I wonder who's complaining right now. Marianne Williams says you should sue everybody.
Handing out lawsuits like Oprah. Look under your seat.
You get a lawsuit. Christy Dorr says, "Oh, we need to reach out to Dave Pontos. Maybe he can give guidance." Ooh, yeah, it's a good idea. I
Maybe.
actually
I
want to
mean,
reach
he's
out.
not a county attorney, so it's
Right,
not too
but
much you can do.
he's been feet on the ground with
Definitely.
giving free free legal services to people who have housing issues.
Definitely.
A great person
Also,
too.
Tenants United. That
Yeah,
was one of the organizations. Doug.
Doug Washington.
Yeah, from um Doug and Mika from Mind and Soul
The
Days
Doug
used to
and
always
Mika
talk about.
show,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
good back
yeah.
in town.
Shout out to my sister Mika as well. But yeah, Tennis United, what are they doing?
Yeah.
That's not to say they're not doing anything. That's just a real question. Like what are they doing? I'm wondering.
Kimara Snipes says, talk to Dale Gines about OHA. He interviewed to be their CEO and they hired someone else. Interesting. Aaron Feichinger would be good too. Ron Chapman says there is an underreported epidemic at the towers. Well, I want to pull off there for a second before I get to the rest of these comments here because this is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about I got told by folks that live outside of Omaha that this is what they're worried about and not get enough information on, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk about it deeply today. If you're at Omaha and you're checking out Omaha World Herald and Channel 7, you're not gonna hear about some of the stuff that we had on Friends of First Sky Omaha, like the heroes of that other situation, who came with some trucks and some space in their storage in order to help people out. What's gonna happen here? Who's even having these kind of conversations where we put a task force together to try to help see what's going on? People calling the ombudsman and so on and so forth. Like who's doing any of that kind of work? I haven't talked to any groups that are saying as much as we're saying right now in this chat for any of this. And it's top of mind. People, we all got family and friends in these towers, and that's what's happening in our neighborhoods. And that seems to be a crisis that's going on right now. If we had a newspaper, it'd be front page news. Let that think about that for a second. Christy Norris says, "Let me see what they say. I will update on Friday about this. The Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is a federal program that it is it that that to that that it to protect elderly folks and seniors." Oh, okay. Didn't know. I didn't know what that was either. I guess I thought I had a whole different idea. Christy Norris says, I am sure if they can step in. I am not sure if they can step in or not because Evans Towers isn't licensed. Hmm. Okay. Wanda Lewis says, if you were just representing the city and not the people as a whole, then your plan would have possibly gotten approved. If you were just representing the city and not the people as a whole. Okay, I hear that. Cheryl Phillips says, are they any full time social workers on staff of the OHA or even in the towers? If not, can the city council or Douglas County Board or the mayor create a job position to work inside the towers? That's what I'm saying. Everything goes back to the mayor. It doesn't seem like the mayor is really concerned about what's going on in the towers at all, or else we wouldn't. I don't know if we'd be in this situation. But you're right. There could be some kind of situation. There may be a situation. I'm not sure. Just really not sure about what the situation is there. It seems to be just a tower. It seems to be like just an apartment building that the city owns that has a sliding scale for people to stay in. And it doesn't seem like they do too much renovation. They do the barest minimal repairs.
That's what I'm
They're like
saying.
they're like they're like
Man.
the Dino from the Dinos on
All right. We're a little behind on the chat. I did want
yeah.
to jump up. Brother Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, is in the chat. Shout out
Oh
to you.
word.
Definitely got to get you on here as soon as possible. But he won during the break. He did roll out a list of bills that he will be working on. And I'm excited about seeing what support we can push behind those bills. But he says one of the bills he introduced yesterday, LB 530, saying OHA CEO elected by residents, resident commissioner elected by residents, no one from city on board, and no one can make a percentage of any contracts, off any contracts, term limit. So
Mm.
I'm guessing these are things that he's trying to change, which makes me ask the question: are people making money off these contracts? Like, are there people getting personal gain from some of this stuff?
That's a good question. Uh, I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know.
And he says willing to come on and answer any questions as well on OHA or 1024. Yeah.
Bro, Friday. First of all, Friday.
Okay.
Get busy.
Friday.
Let's get busy with this. It's definitely gonna be an ongoing thing. I appreciate you jumping up there, buddy. I do see now that I'm way behind on some of these things here. That woman in the house says OHA is taken over by the feds a couple years ago. I don't know if it's return control to local OHA or not. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah. We are running a little bit late with our guest. Let's take a quick break and bring in a special guest, Precious Mckesson. We'll be politicking with P. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God, all of you chat chimers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, buddy to God. The chat's going off this morning. Really appreciate everybody that's joined us over on Facebook and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have Miss Precious Mckesson in the house. Good morning
guys.
to you. How are you?
Oh, good.
How's
I'm
it going?
so sorry.
Hey, it's gonna take us a couple weeks to get back with this early morning schedule. So don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
I
I'm
literally
still
set
waking up
my
myself
alarm.
like,
I set my alarm literally for 7:15, and I hit the snooze button. Like when it went off, I was like, and it went back to sleep.
It's like
Yeah.
that sometimes. It's like that.
But I made a post last night saying, "Hey, y'all, catch me on first Sky Omaha in the morning at 7:30."
Oh man, you made a post and everything.
Oh man. well, better late than never.
I appreciate it. Welcome back. We haven't spoke to you since the break. How was the time? Was your time away from First Sky Omaha? You been getting up at 11 o'clock like you supposed to?
So I mean, I've been doing good. I don't know if there's a
Good.
delay, but let me know this. But no, I've been doing really good. I mean, since we ended, I mean, we had a few weeks off. I should stay off work.
Okay.
Due to the holiday, gave me time to rest and just kind of just chill and stuff. So now we're back. We have a Lincoln municipal race. So right now we're
Yeah.
just coming back with full swing. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Back to work.
There is a little bit of a delay. It looks like it might be on your end. If you could do us a favor and we'll jump out real quick and then jump right back in, and then we'll see if
Okay.
that knocks it out. It seems to do the trick sometimes. All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and give her a little minute to do that, so we can come back in and continue with her. That woman says, "I love that you had some rest time." I heard that. I wish we'd have took some rest time. We got to start finding some rest time in these breaks. Call ourselves going on break and work twice as hard. So
Man.
is what it is.
Okay. Did it
Okay,
work?
it
Yes,
looks a
that's
little
better.
better.
That's
Yes,
better.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And I
Thank you
closed
very
down some
much.
windows also. I closed down
There
some
you go.
windows.
That'll do it.
You had the windows open? It's just cold
Well,
outside.
I had some no. I had, you know what I mean. I had all these
Oh, you mean
I had all
windows on
these
your computer?
tabs open. Yes, I had all
That's
these
how
tabs
that's how
open.
scared I am about the snow coming. I'm like, you better shut them windows.
Oh no, I sleep with the window open. Yeah,
What?
so we did. Oh yeah, it gotta be cold. I want to be bundled up and then know that I can still be warm. I don't know. It's just something. I don't know what it is.
Omaha. Only Omaha. Well, anyway, thank you very much. Tell us, you were telling us what you did. You got a little downtime. You said some rest time over the break and everything. What else did you get up to?
Yeah, so just some rest. I was able to just really. Is it still delaying, y'all?
No, you good. You good.
Oh yeah, so got some rest and just got prepared for this next legislative session because we know it's going to be strong, and I just want to start by saying a lot of people was like, "Oh, isn't the Democratic Party being so vocal?" And just let y'all know since the legislature is nonpartisan, we really follow the lead of our senators, and what we do, we just basically you'll see us come in on bills or when we're asked to come in, but we'll still provide the information to voters, but you won't see us as active in certain things because we follow the lead of our senators due to the fact that it is a nonpartisan unicameral. Well, it is a unicameral, but we will come in strong when it comes to voting rights and the voter ID and all that stuff because those are things that are in our wheelhouse that we want to protect. So I just give that heads up real quick because I got a call the other day saying, "Why aren't you doing this?" Well, we have 17 Democratic senators down there, yes, but again, remember that our legislature is a nonpartisan legislature, so we respect and follow the lead of the senators that are there, and then we'll come in when necessary, when asked to come in and to assist to wherever they need us at promoting their priority bills or getting voters, making sure voters know what's going on. But you will see us very much so. We're not gonna wait for nobody to tell us about the voter ID. We coming in there for that. So just know that for sure, and some other things. So.
For sure. Kind of speaking of that, we just had Brother Senator Terrell McKinney in the chat speaking about LB 530. I mentioned some bills that he posted on his Facebook, letting the people know what's coming down the pipe. But what priority bills are you looking forward to, or do you feel like the people should be looking out for as the session gears up?
Let me ask you this: was 530? Was that one Salama's bill?
No. Brother Terrell McKinney says he introduced LB 530 in OHA.
Okay,
Yep.
so I haven't got to the bills that were just recently. I just made it through like half the list because there was like 200 bills I think that were introduced yesterday alone. So right now, in the beginning of my list, I've looked at the LB 20, which is for Senator Wayne, voter restoration, so for felon voting rights. LB 22, I've been looking at, which is decriminalizing the use and possession of marijuana, and then definitely the LB 230. I've looked at for Erdman, which is voter ID, and then I know Salama introduced one yesterday. I have not went through all the bills yet, but I've been actually I spent a lot of time looking at those bills, the bills that I'm interested in yesterday. Also look at the bill tracker. And one of the things for the bill tracker is you could track your bills. And so that's something that I was doing last night, was entering these into a system so that I get email alerts. So that I know what's going on with those bills, when they go to committee, basically when a hearing is scheduled on them. So that's a way also you can track those bills if there's certain ones that you want to really be in the know about, is going to the website and putting those bills inside the bill tracker and tracking those bills so that you can know what's going on with them.
Is that like billtracker.com or something? Or
it is, I can literally tell you, it's on the legislature website, but it is it's, if you go to Nebraska Bill Tracker, just put in Nebraska Bill Tracker, Nebraska Legislature, it'll come up, and then you go through all the bills and look at all of
them. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that exists. Nebraska.
Yeah, just do a Nebraska Bill Tracker, and you have to sign up. You have to sign up. You have to register your email, and then if you go to the bills on the website on the Nebraska Legislature, it says you want to see all the bills. You can sort them by number, or you can sort them by description, or you can sort them by who the person is. I normally sort them by the introducer of the bill, because I want to see like all that person's bills. All there. And once you go through it, and I think I'm stalling again, let me know. Once you go through it, you can actually see the bill and see the description of the bill, who introduced the bill, and then you can put that into your tracker.
There you go. Man, that's some valuable information. A lot of good bills coming out.
Yeah, a lot of good bills, and I really appreciate, especially with the stuff going on with and I want to give a shout out to Miss Wanda, who let me know about the OHA situation down in with the bed bugs. I had no idea what was going on. As a neighborhood person, I knew nothing that was going on, and I made a few calls because I want to ask, like, why is it that people in poverty have to live in such conditions that are it's just something I just don't understand. And I'll say this, and again, this is Precious with her profession, with her Nona hat on, as a person, as a human being. Just because a person lives in poverty does not mean that a person deserves less and have to live in squatter conditions just because they are impoverished. And I feel that sometimes we have these people who get into these seats, and I'll say it, and I don't care. If you look at the OHA board, I looked at it. I said, when they told me, I said, let me go look at this board and see this board's made up. Cammie Watkins is on the board. Tony Veland is on the board. But when you start to look at other people on this board, do some of these people even live in Omaha? And do these people even live in North Omaha? Do these people look? Somebody brought up the board. Like, who? Yeah, I mean, I just look at these different things. I mean, not to say, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but I gotta just say what it is. Jennifer Taylor, she's the city attorney for the mayor. She works with she's in a lot of things. She sits at the land bank meetings. She sits at a lot of things. I think that's a conflict of interest. I mean, I'm just saying, it's really just not it's frustrating to know that we have people in our community and who are living in such horrible conditions, and that when we say something, people be like, oh, well, we didn't know, or this. It's like, dude, just because they in poverty don't mean that they gotta live like that, and it's wrong. Do something. There's enough money coming through this city in federal dollars that we could go into each of those towers and upkeep those towers to where people have good quality housing. And that's what it's about. quality, healthy housing. Not only are they dealing with being in poverty, but now you're messing with their mental state, because now they have to live in such conditions that they feel that that's all they have, and that's not all they have. I'm sick of this
That's
shit,
right.
for real. I'm sorry. It's
Which
disgusting. It's embarrassing, and I'm tired. And it's not. And I'll tell you, it's not. In certain issues, it is a black issue. It is. But if we look at it, and just let me take the color. If they don't want to see it for the color, it's a humanity issue. If you wouldn't want your mama and your daddy living like that, don't let the people that you claim you serve live like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have been talking about this all morning. We're on this situation right now where we're talking about some kind of calls to action, stuff that we can do. With that said, even though we didn't get to spend too much time with you, I am going to bring Kimara in because we're running on her time too, and I'd like to hear her as a neighborhood person. Let's stick on this subject here for a minute.
Got no
She's a
Sona.
neighborhood right. She's a neighborhood person as well, ladies and gentlemen. Kimara Snipes, what's good in the hood?
Good
morning.
morning.
Sorry that we had you wait there, but we definitely want to bring you both in to talk as neighborhood ladies, neighborhood powerhouses.
Yeah.
When you find out about what's going on at the towers, how what went through your head? What did you do? Are these obviously are towers in the neighborhoods that you guys serve too, that we all serve. So
South
talk
Omaha
about it.
towers too.
All the towers have problems. Before I even met my biological father, who lives in Evans Tower, these towers have had problems. And to me, I guess to me, it always goes back to leadership, right? We have this Omaha Housing Authority board who was appointed by our mayor. And actually, Precious, her vice president used to be the representative commissioner on this board. And it was crazy because before he was on the board, they had nobody representing the tenants and the people who lived there. They did not, and so the paper reached out, and I talked to the paper about it, and it's real funny. How people have to raise up and start yelling and making noise and get in the paper and say something about it. Then all of a sudden the mayor wants to appoint somebody to the board. Right.
Yeah, because
also back to, for me, I've been wanting to talk to Cammie because when I saw that she was appointed to the board, that was very interesting to me because I know Cammie and I know the type of person she is. She's a good person and she's someone who cares. I get real weird when the mayor appoints somebody because she's not about that work. She's not about that work, and she shows it. And I take this personal. You know what I'm saying? There's a chance I might have to try to move my father out of a building. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have that. For people to have to live like that, you got somebody in a hospital right now.
And
it's blatant, right? How long have these towers been like this, buddy? You said you walked in a few years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just been like this.
Well, listen,
and they know it.
I had
staff.
I had family members. I had family members that lived in there when I first got in town. I got here in 2010, 2011. I went over their house, and it was Evans Towers, and it was some of the worst conditions I ever seen up in there.
It's blatantly ridiculous. And so, people. I say from a neighborhood standpoint, but really from an organizing standpoint, right? One of the first keys to organizing is issues, and this is an issue. Right. And as messed up as it is, there is opportunity in this to organize people. I remember back when Tenants United was getting started, because I remember the conditions that Mika was talking to me about. You know what I'm saying? And what does she do? She organized the people. And so, this is an opportunity to organize around that with neighborhoods, not just Precious, the president of Nona, but your city council person is also the president of a neighborhood group organization.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So this is an opportunity to organize around that, and people need to do that. It seems tough, but it's something that can be done. We got to raise hell. That's the only thing we can do.
So that's what we're talking about right now. We're actually talking about what kind of action we can take on all these things. I'm looking at the previous situation that just happened where there had to be people that came out with trucks and help people. I'm thinking that this is going to be 20 times worse. I mean, I think we're dealing with a whole lot more people here that are in these conditions. So we're talking about that right now. What can we do? I'm glad you reminded me about Tennis United. We definitely want to reach out to them and see what they're doing, and if there's any, we don't need to start our own anything. We can help. We can support what is going on with them, team up, and so on and so forth. You mentioned Miss Juanita Johnson, and I know that she approached us the other day about covering the press conference that she was going to have about the water situation there. Did anybody see that press conference? Has anybody talked to Miss Juanita Johnson on this subject? I had a short conversation with her the other day at a meeting, and she voiced her concern and had a plan and of calling these things out on the news, trying to get attention, trying to get people embarrassed enough to go do something about this. She's the one that told me about the bed bug situation. That's the first time I heard about it. And it sounds like her plan was to first of all get on the air, call people out, and call some attention to this. Have you guys talked to her or seen anything there?
I saw her Monday at the Martin Luther King luncheon. That's about it.
Okay.
I talked to her briefly, but again, it ain't about embarrassing people. The people that live there are already embarrassed because they got living on conditions. It's about using the power that you have and making sure that the mayor understands, and you saying this needs to happen. Like, it needs to be cleaned up. Again, I was not privy to this information until somebody from the community called somebody, and then they called me, and then Miss Wanda inboxed me. Mm-hmm. That's my first time knowing about this.
Right.
So again, it's just we need to do better. It's not, I mean, my thing is,
you don't have to wait for city council. You know, Leo said, I saw Leo Lewis the other day, and he said something that reminded me of something I forgot. I don't even remember what it was, but he said, we're working on getting something on the city council agenda. Get it on the agenda. You know, figure out how to do it. I don't even know how to do that myself. I admit that, but I tell you what, my Juanita and my city councilman got an email, and I'm waiting to hear back about what next steps are. And if you can't email me and let me know, then I'm just going to show up at your door. And I ride the bus, baby, and I'm going to still do it. And that's what we have to do. You know, this is how I got into politics. Hell, I lived in poverty. You know what I'm saying? I had housing, I had Section 8, all that. And I got sick and tired of waiting for people to do what they were supposed to do. And every time I asked a question, it was like, well, it's not my fault. You have to talk to your state senator. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do that. Right. And so there's no excuses. Even if we live in poverty, we have to defend ourselves, because when we wait on other people to do it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. But that's the sad thing, because that's why they're in position. Now I keep asking this question: what is the whole point of government if that's not what they're doing? What are they doing? What are we doing here? And I just it irks me, because it's like we're banging our head against the wall, and it's like, what are we really doing? If nobody is doing the job, then why do we and again, the vote, but
it's
what are we doing?
It's not, it's the fact of, and I'll say this, and again, this is Precious Mckesson's personal opinion. I always gotta say that. When you vote, we need to be voting for people who are for the people. You have to put people over politics. Right. At the end of the day, that's the only way that you're going to be successful. If you're in politics for a power grab, or just to say I'm elected, you're in the wrong business. Because at the end of the day, there are people that you represent, and there's people that you don't, that literally that don't want you in office because they're in the opposition, but you still represent those people, and you still have to do the work. It's about the people. And I can't just bring up something real quick before I go back to this one. Kimmer had mentioned on Eric, and I just want to make this very much so known, with Eric on the OHA board. Eric applied. He fulfilled someone's term on that board. And then when it went time for him to be reappointed, they didn't reappoint him. And I'm going to tell you why they didn't reappoint him. They didn't. Now he wasn't on the board. He was on there as a community commissioner. Now, who also was on there as a commissioner was Steve. Oh my gosh, help me, Kimra. I'm about to mess up his name. Steve. He ran for city council. Steve Abram.
Oh, Steve. Yes, Steve.
On there before Eric.
Before Eric, and I think Eric fulfilled his term. Now, my thing is that me and Eric had really a lot of talks. Eric was asking the right questions.
Yeah,
it was like they tried to take his voice for those tenants, to the point to where he wasn't, you can't talk to the media, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's not what you do to a person who sits on a board who is speaking for the people. And that's what they did to Eric. And they were wrong.
To that?
Who Who is the they? What are the names?
The board, the mayor didn't reappoint him. So whoever's on the board.
I want to add something too, that there's also something we have to remember too when we talk about power dynamics, because Eric did have everything Precious is saying is true. And one of the things he also said was that, you know, sometimes it was intimidating. You're in there in a room with people who are lawyers, got these fancy degrees, and then you bring in this OHA rep. And OHA ain't really doing a whole lot of leadership development for people. It ain't like it was back in the day when my auntie was working in Vietnam at the girls club, and they was, you know, actively trying to work with the kids and actively trying to get them into college and actively trying to do all these things. You know, it goes back to leadership. And now they have this person who has come in, who is the leader, who came from a different organization. And they said when that person was at a different organization, what they do, contracted out all the work. And what do I know? A bunch of people I know who work for OHA who no longer do, because you just got rid of them. Yeah. So there is a lot to it. It comes down to leadership, which unfortunately or fortunately, you do have to vote. You know, we talk about making it relatable to people. Well, every person who lives in OHA needs to know that, guess what? Your mayor appoints the board for OHA. Did you know that? Did you know that you as a person who lives there has a chance to be on that board?
Right.
And there is a young lady that's now on that board as a commissioner that lives in OHA. I have not, I got her name the other day, but I need to do a little bit more research. But she's not, but I don't know her first name. Is it Tiff? It's something. I know her last name is good. Yes, they told me her. I don't remember. I don't know who she is. But they said she lives there. Now this is my issue, and I don't want to keep beating it down. I've had an issue. I think my issue has been with the leadership of OHA. There was an incident that happened when Senator McKinney first got elected. So he's going. This is his second session. So it may have been last year, or maybe after he got elected. And I never forget, we were on a post. Something was going on. Oh, it was about the OHA football team they were discontinuing the football team. Now, everybody who knows about OHA know they have the football team, the heavy hitters. They invested in them. I mean, we used to play against them all the time. Coach Gainey and them, they used to come down to, when they would go to championships, we would play against them in Kansas City with the Boys and Girls Club. And they always came strong. They had a very good parent. They was at every parade. The parents always showed up. Well, they started wanted to get rid of that program. And I remember we were on Facebook and we were talking about it. And I'll never forget, the president, and I think the president, the CEO of OHA and the president of the board disrespected Senator McKinney and was like, well, Terrell, if you want to talk, I said, hold up now. I said, that is Senator McKinney to you.
Like, respect on his name.
Yeah, it's like I felt very disrespected that the fact that they felt, what, Terrell, if you want to talk about it, look, people, you're gonna have to deal with us, and you're gonna put some respect on that. And so that's always been my issue. When I saw that, I'm gonna be honest with you, I knew right then and there what I was dealing with. And I again, you cannot be over an organization that houses many people who receive federal funding, housing grants, and your money is paid every month on time by the government, and you're not being held accountable to make sure these conditions that they live in are safe, healthy, and clean.
Okay, so that feels like a little bit of a new information there too. We were wondering about whether or not they were getting assistance, aid to live there in these towers. Is that everybody, or is that certain cases, or how does that work?
I mean, I would think if you're in an Omaha Housing Authority property, you're receiving some type of and correct me if I'm wrong, Kimara, but I would think you're receiving some type of subsidy, because it is a government facility. I mean, it's not a government facility, but they are paid with government dollars.
According to Omaha Housing Authority website, the Omaha Housing Authority contracts with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to provide low and moderate income individuals with safe, debatable, and stable, debatable, housing through rent subsidies. OHA administers over 2,700 public housing units and up to 4,300 housing choice vouchers, i.e. Section 8, which is a whole nother conversation, because we know that they rarely, if not at all, offer Section 8 vouchers in North Omaha, which goes back to somebody's comment about maybe they have ulterior motives and plans with the current tower locations, which is why they're allowing these locations to basically dilapidate before our very eyes.
I just want to ask this: when Frank Brown was over this, I never heard about the towers having these issues. I just want to say, and I know that Brad Ashford, the late Brad Ashford sat on the OHA board for many years, and actually, he may have been the CEO of OHA. I know he did a lot of work with OHA.
I want to jump into the chat. First of all, just want to let people know it's 8:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. This is Women's Wednesday. We have Kimara Snipes on deck. We also have Precious Mckesson. Put some respect on both their names. We appreciate you guys getting up this morning and being here and talking about this subject. There was only two things on the headlines today for us. It's whether or not we are making, what can we do, feet on the ground. So we've talked about what we can do. Sounds, according to where the time frame that I'm talking about right now, it sounds long term. Yes, we're gonna vote. We're gonna get people in the seats that we need. We're gonna have to battle the mayor on some things, so on and so forth. But there's something going on right this minute, which is that the people are living with these bed bugs, and it's going to be a situation where they're going to have to all come out of these towers, and there's going to be something that has to happen. We need feet on the ground, boots on the ground, reaching out for the people like Kimara is just saying. Waiting on folks to come do their job is not going to help the people that are laying up there right now on these bugs, and we need to figure out what it is that we can do to take some action on helping these people right now, this minute.
Right. There's several things that they're coming to my mind. I mean, you said feet on the ground. You're going to have to go around and talk to people. But somebody said something in the chat earlier about these different laws that are in place that can help these people. We need to know what those laws are. I think that's one of the first places to start. And then you do have a lot of people who are very knowledgeable about just housing policy and things like that. You talked about Doug, Erin Feitinger, who used to be with Together. Now she's with the WCA, I believe. She knows a lot about housing policy. When I was going through what I was going through, that's who helped me out significantly. But, you need to talk to the people in case something does happen. We have to prepare, right? You can't wait until something happens. So the biggest thing I can think of from an organizing standpoint is going around and talking to people and asking them, do you have a backup plan? Right? Some people may have other options. So then if they have options, good. What about the people who don't? And then start trying to help them.
That's a great idea. I love that. Let's jump into
and find out what those laws are that can help those people.
Yeah, you got to be careful going over there, because if they know that you're over there investigating them, they called the police on the media the other day. On Omaha World Herald was there to interview people.
Really?
And they called the police on the person.
Thank you for. I appreciate you reminding me about talking about that. Yeah, that just happened.
Is it the manager at what tower? Like that's my thing. Like we got to get away from they and then like who is this person so we can hold them accountable. And if I ever talk to this person, why did you do that?
This is the thing. I don't know exact names. So if I say they, it's because I don't know who the exact name. But at the Evans Tower, I was told that when someone went, when Omaha World Herald went there, the police was called on them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
that's I'm thinking we could walk up in some place, you know what I'm saying, and not be the police or the newspaper. But you're right. And we do have to be aware, but that just goes back to organizing, right? It ain't always just, super formal, you might have to just, sneak up in the building. I'm saying that on live TV right now, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about by any means necessary, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. And that's the level that we're on when we're talking about solutions. I am going to jump into the chat. Lost Precious. I am going to jump into the chat real quick. Vaughn Chapman, here she comes back right now. Hey. Just jump into the chat real quick. Vaughn Chapman asked earlier, who do you force the city's code enforcement department to do their job? How do you force the city's code enforcement department to do their job? Also, Tuff Anderson is talking. He says, Joni Poor, Chief Executive Officer, Omaha Housing Authority. The problem with OHA has been going on for years. They were underneath HUD, and since they were released from HUD oversight, and Joni Poor has been in power, it's gone down. He says Danielle Goodwin. Danielle Goodwin is the newly appointed resident commissioner. Okay. Also, OHA receives federal funding. Also, they just received renewal of the RUS grant from the government, which is supposed to help the residents become more self-sufficient. Interesting. Marianne Williams in the chat says Tim Royers, who lost his election in November, posted this today, and it speaks to why we vote for the right people. I don't know what more I could have done to make it more obvious last election that Senator Kauth is dishonest, disingenuous, divisive, and just plain bigoted. It sickens me that I lost to her. Kauth has introduced bills that are just plain cruel to children. I don't care how you feel about trans people. They are people, and she's targeted children. So yeah, statement on what you kind of making the decision on who you're gonna vote for sure. Jazari Kual is in the house. Good morning to you. He's I'm not sure what you were commenting to. Sorry about that. Von
commenting
Chapman
to the OA to the media being targeted.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, we talk about this all the time. That's why we talk about news gang. That's that's where we're at. This is one of the most gangster moves in the world to be a journalist right now because of stuff like this. This stuff happens all the time. You're in jeopardy when you go try to uncover anything. So we're doing it from the comfort of the studio, but we're talking about feet on the ground right now to see what we can do. We're talking about these things. We're understanding these things. We're coming to some plans and organizing. And is that our role? Is that our role as First Sky Omaha to help organize this thing and get some feet on the ground and get out there and really try to help some folks? Good question. Von Chapman says, I spoke to HUD yesterday and was told that the Evans Towers is owned and controlled by the OHA and the city. HUD has no command or control over the Evans Towers and directed me to the city's code enforcement. Therein lies the real problem.
That's Scott Lane.
Yeah.
Scott Lane is city code enforcement.
Scott Lane, he runs that. He's director of city code enforcement.
All I see is city. I'm
All
sorry.
And every time I see city, I ain't gonna lie, I get kind of scared because they'll be quick to say, let's put them all out. No, you can, Lord. I mean, I hope and pray.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Getting ready for. They might need to put them all out. If you're talking about health code violations and all kinds of stuff, if you got to burn bed bugs and stuff like that, they're gonna have to put them all out. Where are they gonna go? Because I don't see anything set up for where they're gonna go, and that's why I'm saying boots on the ground. What are we gonna do to help? Because we're gonna have to. Who's gonna do it?
That article I saw said termites in the carpet. I mean, I went and read it this morning. I'm telling you, it's been. Yeah.
Do you want to play the video from Friends of?
Yeah, I guess we can. Yeah,
just to give people just an image of what these people are dealing with, what they have to live through.
Yeah, if you guys are, you got it up already?
Yep.
Cool. Let's take a look.
Oh, they moving around. They everywhere. There's a spray in there. Oh, Daddy, please quit taking up for these people. This is what's going on at my daddy's house. Oh God. We've been telling these people about bed bugs forever, and we gonna get some help today. And I mean it.
I appreciate it. I don't want to continue that. That's
it.
It's sad because it's
people have to live with that.
It's embarrassing for people to have that are dealing with that to deal with that.
Yeah.
Elderly people that can't really do much about anything sometimes, and they got the kids coming to see what's going on, and that's what's happening. I think I believe that video was from the lady that came in from out of town, had to come all the way in from out of town to get her dad up out of that situation.
And her dad has to continue to pay for that. And this is Evans Tower.
And her dad has to continue to pay the rent after he's moved out of state.
I imagine when we talk about laws, there's something for that. Yeah, we got to get some. We have to talk to people who understand the law, and talk to people who can get in there and find out who needs some help. Because if
that's my thing. That's my thing, though. You talk about people who you have two lawyers that are on the board. One of them works for the city, and one of the COO works for One World. You think the people at One World don't know that this is a health hazard?
I go back to, I feel real funny about anybody who's appointed by the mayor. And I'm not talking about Cammie. I haven't had a chance to talk to her. But typically when it comes to a mayor appointed board, I'm not even putting my faith in that. So I'm going back to, again, we got to find somebody who knows. Okay, find somebody who knows the law and is willing to apply it where it's needed, right? They probably know the law, but clearly ain't applying it where it's needed. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, buddy. We need to talk to some people who care, who actually have empathy and care.
Speaking of which, we talk about our legislature. We talk about, you know, the people that are sitting in these seats. We're talking, you know, when you talk about people that care, people that have integrity, the people that are in there fighting the good fight. The first person that pops up in my mind is Terrell McKinney. Put some respect on his name. Brothers in the chat talking about it right now. He's already offered to come by and talk Friday on these things. You know, he's one of the only brothers I trust that's sitting in them seats right now, like doing the work. And so I definitely want to hear from him. I definitely want to reach out to Cammie Watkins. She's a friend of First Sky Omaha. She's been on the show several times before. Love to have her back and talk there too. But again, I'm in a situation right now where I'm questioning the value of what First Sky Omaha is doing. Are we doing enough? Does our neighborhoods know? You know, I talked to several people that don't even know we exist right now that live in our neighborhoods. Are we doing enough for our neighborhoods? Like this is the second part of the headlines today. To me, it's what are we going to do about the towers and First Sky Omaha? Are we doing enough for anything? I'm glad that we're here and we're able to talk about these things and we're able to show people what's happening and get people invested and interested here, and treat this like this is front page news for us in our neighborhoods, because it is. And we're doing that. But now what can we do? Feet on the ground. Kimara's given some great suggestions about how to determine which people need the help. I would love to get on the horn with somebody like Leo Lewis, who probably still has a truck. You know, the BAA, some folks that, you know, if these people got to come up out of here, man. And what about the elderly people that are sitting up in there that don't have kids that are going to come in and see this and help? And you know, what kind of help? So we've had a lot of good suggestions throughout the show. Amy Huffless talked about a call to action hotline situation for First Sky Omaha. I mean, we want to try to do more. We want to bring even more value as First Sky Omaha. We don't want to just talk about these things and then suffer through watching them and seeing them and talking about them and getting mad. We also want to, after we turn this camera off, go out and help these people do what they need to do.
You know, I'm sorry. I have another idea looking at Miss Wanda. You know, it would also be wise if we get people to organize to sit down and have some sort of like session with them to talk about these things she's talking about, to also protect yourself too. Yeah.
March on the City, Von Chapman is asking. Wanda Lewis is talking about dumpsters. Don't try to haul anything away. These things got to be burned up. Von Chapman says this is obviously elder abuse, and the city of Omaha is responsible and should be held financially responsible for the relocation of these victims.
And that's my thing. Not to, you know, put ourselves in a victim mentality, but obviously there's something criminal going on. Obviously, we know laws are being broken, and it's like, how long? Like, I don't want to adapt a victim mentality, but we are victims. Like, the people of the city are victims and being victimized by the very people who's supposed to represent them. And that's the same case with the police. We haven't gotten into that investigation. They're being investigated by the feds. Don't know what's going on with that. Like, and I guess to answer the second part of the headline, as far as First Sky Omaha and what we're here doing. Speaking for myself, I know, Paul, I'm sure you agree, but just speaking for myself, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I came into this as an artist, as a person, and I'm a musician and artist because I love how art allows me to express these things that obviously I really can't express any other way. Like, I could talk about it like this, but that doesn't do as much for my soul as music does. But at the end of the day, we still have to find solutions, and that's why I'm here, because music can only, you know, allow me to get it off my chest. But how do we fix the problem? How do we find solutions? And that's why I embarked on radio. That's why I embarked on journalism. That's why I do this. And it just frustrates me when the solution is people who are in power and the people who are supposed to do their jobs doing their jobs. Like, it's it just boggles the mind that people have to deal with this because people don't want to do their jobs. And obviously people all up and down the chat are getting the runaround. Like I can count at least 5 people in the chat that said, I asked and I was told to go here. I asked and I was told to go here. That's why I'm like, okay, let's just stop
Same
it.
thing with the ARPA funding.
Stop it. Who are the names? Who are these people?
Yeah.
And we've invited people to this show and they won't come. So I'm not in Omaha. Who can pull up on these people? Like, we really got to get news gang.
Right. Gang for real.
For real. For the people. Because nobody is fighting for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to reach out to that reporter at Omaha World Herald, hear some more of that story.
I don't know who it was.
Yeah, well, I'd love to send one to us. So this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing and why we try to raise the funds too. We need to expand the gang. We need to have people that can go over and do that type of thing. Go over and report on these things. We have things in place, and that's why we reached out for some of the ARPA funds so we can expand on the black media and be able to train black journalists to be able to write about the things that's going on in our neighborhoods. They didn't see the value in that. They didn't see the value enough to give us any dollars on that end. So we're grassroots trying to get that together, but that's still our goal. Our goal is to be able to have a gang of reporters out here that's going to go get the story, and then knowing they're going to be up against, possibly getting the police called on them if they go uncover stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We got to get to that point. We've been doing this 2 years now, and that was our goal from the jump. Journalism is activism, and here we are trying to figure out how we can get to that again. We feel a little bit set back because if there's millions of dollars coming into the north side, then you don't value what it is that we're doing on the north side.
I will say this. Really, the thing that Paul and I talk about a lot, like off air, and the things that we really, really in our hearts want to do is we want to tell y'all about the dope jazz album. We want to tell y'all about the dope art that's coming out. We want to inform y'all about the NFTs and all the technology and how we can thrive. But before we realize, before we can even get to that conversation, before we can even get people hearing and caring about that conversation, we got to survive first. And we can't even get to that point. And that's really like, as Paul and I, we care about art, culture, things that we know that those are the things that literally advance civilization. Like, look at the Renaissance. It was pushed by art, culture, thinking high level thoughts and expanding humanity. We can't even get to that because we have to get the people to have a place to live.
Yeah, we can't enjoy the art.
And it angers me and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we can't enjoy the arts and culture and stuff when people are living in
bed-bug infested rooms.
Yeah, and they got to go back to that. Why come enjoy, have this very big moment and have this excitement, and then you got to go back to conditions where it should put you in a complete depression. This is a mental health issue also. This is because mentally these residents and people who live like this, they have to deal with that mental piece of it. It's a lot. And then again, I mean, and we gotta stop covering for folks. And like Buddy said, got to start calling them out. Got to call them out by name. Like I said, when I got the call, I called Eric. As soon as I got off the phone. I called Eric and I called who else did I call? No, it wasn't Eric. It was Eric. And then Miss Wanda sent me an email. And I promise you. And I called Preston because I wanted to know if Preston. That's what I called Preston. Because I wanted to know if Preston knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
I called.
So y'all was talking about the Omaha World Herald. So I said Chris Burbach from the Omaha World Herald a text message, and it was him. He said he don't know about the police, but OHA called security on your humble correspondent, Tim.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so it's police security. Somebody was called, but
right.
When I asked Eric, he literally said that he was like he couldn't tell me the off. He just said I was told, but again. We got to start talking about this because this is the only way that we get this information out and we get people the help. But then we have to also, this is why affordable housing is so important. This is why.
And we need to find a new word for that affordable housing because
it shouldn't be affordable. Got to be safe, clean of housing, not affordable. Affordable, they'll put you in anything.
What they're calling affordable housing is not affordable. And we don't want to mix. We need to find another term so we don't mix it up with what they trying to act like affordable housing is.
I'm looking at Buddy's message. I'm sorry. I'm I'm with it. I'm not even tripping. So.
I'm tired of having the same conversation. We're 2 years in. We're 2 years in.
Just saying.
Right.
I'm tired of doing it.
Yeah.
This is when. So I this is that fork in the road, right? This is when you figure out a lot of things because there are a lot of activists out here, right? But you get to the point where you really, really got to put your foot down because we see that the same old thing ain't working. And somebody said earlier, there's power in numbers. There is power in numbers, and we have to show up and caller. Somebody needs to be called out because it's sickening. And these people don't listen until you're ready to bust their door down.
Very true.
Until their pockets are threatened. Somebody said that too.
Yeah, and they get him, and how it really works out here too is they get embarrassed. If this is the other thing we were going to do was reach out to the national. Who heating up an egg burrito in the background? What's going on?
Hear the microwave.
That's Taylor. I'm sorry.
Hold on just a minute, Taylor.
She on her way to class. She got to go to class. She said Creighton didn't cancel school. She got to go.
Yo.
She's like, I don't care if y'all on air. I need an egg burrito right now.
Paul couldn't just let it go. Paul couldn't let it go.
Man, come on, everybody. I know what a microwave door sounds like. Trust me.
Hilarious. Question said, at least it ain't a fire, a smoke detector.
I heard them beeps like, oh, I know that tone. I know that sounds like a microwave. Let me jump in the chat real quick. Jazari Kowal said, if anyone knows anyone in the towers that I could talk to, I'll do a video and print story about it. Bro, get a hold of us. Let's talk because this is exactly the kind of folks that we need to add with, to partner with First Sky Omaha. This is what we need. Von Chapman also says you can't make strides and make needed changes without being adversarial to the powers that be. Buddy, if you want to call and go on and make this thing do what it do. We don't have the situation hooked up yet here the way that we were testing it the other day. So it would just be us calling, hold the mic up to the phone. You want to make it happen?
Give me a second.
But I think it shows how sensitive OHA is about it because Chris is like, he said all he was doing was talking in the first floor community room with people who lived there. He said it wasn't excited or anything like that, and they called security on him.
Right. Let me jump back into there real quick though. First of all, Brianna Full says big housing bills are dropping today at the legislature. You posted that in Friends vs. Sky Omaha. Let's definitely talk about what those housing bills are and what they mean. Again, we keep on hearing people talking about affordable housing, but that's always like $1,000 for a 1-bedroom, which people in the towers wouldn't be able to afford. That's not affordable. Wanda Lewis says also OHA should have programs in place to empower the able-bodied tenants to assist them in elevating themselves to use their low-income housing as a stepping stone, not as a permanent and long-term situation like they do with CDBG collaboratives. Create a plan from the onset, just like Precious said. They used to have a softball team. People need motivation, not complacency. Yeah, complacent. Is that what she said? Complacency. Buddy, you going for it? Where you at, buddy? Okay, we'll keep on real quick. Christy Norris says, Jazari, can you disguise them if you're willing to talk? Yeah, we need to talk. We can try to help. We can try to help support that situation. That's what we're kind of here doing. Jazari, if you want to get a hold of us, we definitely want to expand that. We need reporters. We need people that are going to go in. Buddy, let me know. Just give me this high sign when you got your thing going on over there. Vod Chapman says, I never understood how so-called affordable housing is the answer to poverty. They keep on calling that.
And I don't think it's the answer. I don't think it's the answer to poverty. So when I'm talking about affordable housing, I'm thinking about affordable, really being affordable housing. Like that's what I'm thinking, because again, I know what it is. I know what it is to grow up on Section 8. I had Section 8 myself when I first had my daughter. So I know what and I always have to remind people, like, I was on Section 8. I have food stamps. I got a welfare check. Look, these are things I know what it was. I've never had where I was like, oh, I can go live. I lived on 16th Street over the Chinese restaurant that was it was Douglas County housing. over downtown. So I know what poverty is. And I think when I think of affordable, I'm thinking affordable, can they afford it? Because at the time, I still was struggling in receiving a subsidy to be able to pay for rent. And I worked at a job where I still had healthcare insurance. I had healthcare insurance. I worked at AAA, and I still didn't make enough to be able to be comfortable even receiving a subsidy for my rent. But I knew I wanted health care for my daughter, and I think Miss Wanda had made a comment in there. They should have programs to use them as a stepping stone. Right. They should be able to say, how do we know we get all this money from the government, how do we start some type of savings, so when they hit 2, 3, and 4 years, that if they hit 4 years, they went through some credit classes, they went through some housing classes, in 4 years we can give them the money, that a portion of what was spent or what they gave and saved, and give them to help them be able to buy as a down payment on their first home. We have to do that. We have to show people that there's a way out of it. And we know the elderly, we know the elderly, sometimes they may not, they may have lost their homes, or may have to be into these smaller because they were in houses. But again, they still need to have safe, clean living environments
right now. And that's the issue at the moment. Some of that other stuff is kind of down the line. So we got to think about that. Buddy, you had the phone up. Are you going for it?
So far, I have called Joni Poor, who's a CEO, Susan Gilroy, who's a director of compliance, and Jody Holston, who's a director of public housing, to no avail. Nobody's answering the phone. Are they in a meeting? I don't know, but I've called 3 people and nobody has answered the phone.
Tough Anderson says we have to be careful about putting people in living jeopardy who have nowhere to go when doing videos. Right. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we need to really kind of make sure that we're going to be careful about that. I would rather us be in there showing what's going on in the towers, not necessarily people's situation, because a lot of people haven't come forward because of that very reason. It was noted earlier that a lot of people have not come forward because they're scared about getting evicted by coming forward. And where would they go? He says that woman says Douglas County Housing Authority has that program for employed tenants. Which program are you talking?
Paul, you said something that it made me remind me of my grandmother when she was receiving housing before she passed. And one thing she was like, oh, don't let this happen because I don't want to lose my housing. Don't let, they don't want to be in that situation to where they could lose, even though they know it's not the best for them. They're scared. And my grandmother was like that, she wouldn't want, my grandmother was like, don't let the police come over here because if the landlord find out, they'll put me out, like little things, like just those simple things is a fear. And it's sad. They shouldn't have to live in fear thinking that they're going to get retaliation for speaking up again about something.
And I can't imagine, I'm just gonna be real. Nobody wants to live in the towers. That's kind of last resort. What if you can't afford to live anywhere else, then you might end up in the towers. And then what happens if you can't afford the towers? What happens if you ain't in there no more? So it's not just I don't want to give up my independence living here. It's also like I don't. This is my last. Where would I be able to go? I'll be on. We ain't even talking about. We have not said one time about people that end up on the street, that also are out here living on the street, and they were people that were in the towers at one time before. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot to this. And right now, I think that right now the best bet is let's get our wheels turning on doing some kind of organizing, figuring out what we can do to help this situation, or be a safety net for if it goes down. Make these calls. Turn these talks into action talks. Make these calls like Buddy's doing right now. Wanda Lewis said call Scott Lane, code enforcement. We can see what's happening there. Wanda Lewis says, thank you for bringing this situation to the forefront. It's front page news for us. This is the reason why we do first Sky Omaha. It may not be front page news on Omaha World Herald right now, but it's front news for us in our neighborhoods. And you see, we got the neighborhood folks on. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it either. Miss Juanita Johnson invited us to come and cover that event. Again, we didn't have the capacity to be able to go and cover her news conference about it. But I was able to have a private conversation with her about it where she had a plan. So I would, I'd like to hear more from her. I would absolutely follow Brother Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, his lead, and on what it is that he's saying and saying can be done about this. We all know that brother's a man of action as well. And I'm gonna just keep on calling these organizations around, man. Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, BAA, put everybody on high alert, because we might have to do something about helping our brothers and sisters that are in these towers that are going to have to come out at some point. You ain't going to be able to live there like that. If they get embarrassed enough and they go do something about getting these bed bugs and stuff out, they're gonna be fumigating the place. They're gonna put people out so that they can spray the joint down and burn up stuff. And these people are gonna be out without resources because they can't take their beds and stuff with them because they because of the situation. There's too much here that people might need. What are some of the organizations that are getting ready for that? Where are the our food pantries on high alert? Are housing lawyers on high alert? Where's Dave Pontos at? Let's talk.
Oh, Dave was at still been at eviction court. He posted yesterday, so he still is helping. I saw him. He made a post yesterday.
So he would be a great source of information to be able to talk about what can happen next. And somebody who really specializes in that part of it, like just not, he might be in housing in general, but we need somebody who's into city housing. What's going on there? You can go ahead and put this up. You want me to put this link up?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, I just Googled it because the conference, from what I was told by Tamika, the press conference was held right before City of Omaha Martin Luther King celebration was held. But I didn't see the press conference when I got there. I went in. I didn't see a press conference being taking place.
Well, like I said, she invited us, and one of the reasons why she invited us was because she knows what it is that we do, and she didn't want the mainstream press to misconstrue what it is that she was trying to say, what her press conference was about. We weren't able to make it. I work 2 full-time jobs. I can't, we need to build out. It's like Buddy said, it's been 2 years. First, Sky Omaha needs to build out the capacity. We went after those dollars so we could build out capacity and be able to send people to press conferences and things like that. If this is not valued, then we might need to change some kind of gears on this so that maybe we can become more available to go out and do these things than we are doing what we do. We got to figure this thing out. It's part of the conversation for us as well, because we're talking about trying to organize and put boots on the ground and help. So what we just put in the chat right now is a link to. All right, Buddy's on the phone with somebody. We put a link to Juanita Johnson, put some respect on her name's talk or her press conference about what was going on with that. We can take a look at that. I might even show it now if we.
So looking at the article, reading the article, it looks like the article really started because of the hot water shortages. Says she received phone calls about the water source shortage, and that was the reason for this press conference. But then big bug issues will be two that she plans to follow. That Councilwoman Juanita plans to follow up on. That should have been in one package.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because the conversation that we had, she was working that out as we were speaking. She said there's this also a bug situation. I don't know if I do both of them, it might take the power away from one of them. Maybe I should do 2 press conferences and address both of those that way. So that was her strategy, and we'll see that works. Von Chapman says the state of North Omaha is coming up. I hope. Yeah, there's a big state of North Omaha thing coming up. You guys planning on going to that?
I'm just thinking back to a few years ago when Kasim and them came to the state of North Omaha meeting. I don't know if you were there, but oh boy, I mean, some people showed up, and
was that. Wait a minute. I mean, there's been several times when there's been.
It was a few years ago down at Creighton, I believe.
The one that I was at, that Leo showed up at, was at Metro.
Or Metro. I said Creighton. I meant Metro.
Metro, yeah.
Real quick, I have a. Go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to give an update. I got off the phone with Scott Lane's office. I spoke to his secretary, left my name and number. He's currently in a meeting, so we'll see. We will see.
8:54 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, only about 6 minutes left in the show.
I just want to say this because I think I've always had like Kimara said, there's always been some incidents that have happened at the state of North Omaha. And I just have to say this, like my last experience on the panel, I never forget this because it's always going to be embedded in my head. And I think this is why we're going to talk about this is going to come up again. I remember I was talking about poverty. We were talking about the state of North Omaha. I'm talking about neighborhoods, and I was on this panel, and I remember I was talking about poverty, about rental, how we have people that are in how we need to do more with getting better housing, and not only that, but letting people own housing. And I'll never forget sitting next to this community member, and and she literally said, and I mean, and I'll say it, I mean, Lavanya Goodwin, and she literally said that people need to stop wearing their poverty as a badge of honor, because I was talking about growing up in poverty, and talking about how we need to do better with getting people housing, and getting people, not even on housing, but getting people to own homes, and how we need to do a better job at that education stuff. And she literally said that, and I'll never forget that. And I promise you, that is what sparked me to continue doing what I do. And that is why to this day, me and her do not have a cordial, I should say, we have a cordial where I'm speaking, keep it moving. But that's why my guard is always up, because for her to say that in front of hundreds of people, after I was explaining the situation in regards to my grandmother being in poverty, working as a housekeeper, paying like 30 times for this home that she was renting, that one day she could have actually owned. And for someone to say we shouldn't wear our poverty as our as a badge of honor. But we got people out here living in squatter conditions. And remember, she has an organization on 24th Street also. So I would love to know what her take is on this, as the BID is on that, on that same street.
Yeah, I'll just say this: we reached out to some people, and not everybody responds to our calls and texts.
I mean, that's really what it is, man. If because we don't think nothing about calling somebody up in a hot minute. Come on the show and let's talk. And we're gonna be respectful, and we're gonna talk. But a lot of people don't want to do that. So I found that very interesting too. I had reached out to Miss Juanita Johnson several times to come on to the show. She wasn't able to do that. So maybe we'll figure out how we can get to this next press conference of hers and see what's going on. We only got about 4 minutes left in the show. I just want to jump in the chat just real quick. Tough Anderson is saying purpose of government ROSS program, which we need to really look at, ROSS, which is resident opportunity and self-sufficiency, local strategies to coordinate the use of assistance under the public housing program. There's money there. There's money there to help people do what they got to do, and it might not be being used right now if they're sleeping on top of bed bugs. That woman, Miss Erica Fell, says, in the lack of heat in the winter and cooling in the summer, anyone above the 10th floor is affected by both, multiplied by the higher the floor. 80-year-olds freezing and melting. I live in Benson Theater. I look across the street at the Benson Tower all the time, and I'm amazed by how many air conditioning units are hanging out of them windows way up on the 12th and 13th floor. And I'm thinking, man, like, you got to do a whole bunch of construction to get you to just cool your joint off. Like, the buildings don't have no air. No, we can go on and on. Von Chapman says, have you noticed how these black folk who work for or through the city of Omaha have no visibility when it comes to real issues in North Omaha?
Yep.
Yeah. And like I said, they have an opportunity to come talk anytime they want to hit us up. So yeah, anyway, we got about 2 minutes left in the show. Kimara Snipes, tell us what's good in the hood. Quick.
It's the beginning of the year, and so SONA, South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, we don't meet during the J months, and we don't meet in December. So our first meeting of the year is going to be happening in February. And so we're going to be doing some more of our goal defining, talking about our accomplishments from 2022 and getting ready for our banquet for this year. And also, hopefully, if they respond, getting an update on the ARPA funding, more specifically to South Omaha. But I am looking for a co-treasurer and a co-secretary. And let me just say that, the opportunities for leadership development and really improving and expanding your network are phenomenal with the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. And I will just say that every secretary we have had since a minute has gone on also becoming elected official. And that wasn't even a part of the plan, right? But I'm just saying there's so much opportunity, and we're looking to also bring in some younger people. So, leadership development, skill development, network development, all with the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. We meet at the Kroc Center on the first Thursday of the month. So this will be February 4th at 6:30 p.m. Our elected officials are there. Community organizations are there. Sometimes the reader shows up. It's a good time. The police department also comes to share with us what's happening in the different neighborhoods in South Omaha. But it's a good time, like I said, great opportunity for development and all of that. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. You must have an interest in neighborhoods, though. In this case, South Omaha neighborhoods, because that is what it is about. It ain't a place for you to come and just get some recognition and get your name on a piece of paper and all this and all that. There's real work to be done. So I just wanted to share that, and please reach out to me. My shirt came from Precious, actually. It says, "I'm your neighborhood dopeness dealer."
Hey.
Yes.
And mine says, when they say woke, they really mean black.
Okay.
Ooh, I heard that.
Okay.
And mine is a design by a local black artist named Sky just supporting young black kings with their art.
And these are all and that shirt did come from a black owned young lady in Missouri, and this shirt comes from a black owned. And I'll go into the chat or however I can do it and put the links where I got the shirts from if you ever want those shirts. But can I just say this while Kimara's talking about Sona's coming back? I would say Nona is officially going back to in-person meetings, and our first meeting will be the 4th Thursday in February. We're just trying to lock down the location, but we feel that we have a lot of interest in neighborhoods, and I thank y'all for really bringing the awareness and always talking about the neighborhoods, because again, that's where it starts at neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are really the fabric of the community. We can't have a neighborhood. We can't have a city without neighborhoods. We can't have any of these things. So we're coming back to doing live our in-person meetings. We won't meet every single month because again, we want to make sure that we're doing the work and being on the ground, but we do have to come back in a state to where people are actually meeting and talking about it. So I will send that out for Nona, but I'm really excited for Nona to really, somebody, I just looked at the comment. Yes, it is in response to that, but yes, just coming back and making sure that, we are really doing the work. And again, I appreciate y'all giving us this platform to really talk about it, because again, neighborhoods and politics go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. And so we have to be able to talk about these issues, and for the people. And that's something that we got to get a minute. Remember, people over politics. And we're talking about the people. That's all I got to say. And yes, my shirt is in response to the foolishness.
Kimara, we gotta come back to that. So
and I still didn't tell you what happened in Lincoln either. So
okay, well, we'll talk about it again. As a matter of fact, we might not even have to wait a week. We're gonna talk to Terrell McKinney on Friday, and you ladies are welcome to come back onto the show while we do that as well, so we continue. I think this is gonna be a conversation that's gonna take us a few episodes. So most definitely.
And I'll let you know if I get here back from Scott Lane's office.
Absolutely.
And I'll send out some emails out. I already drafted up, my little handy notebook. I'm getting like Kimara now. I'm writing down my notes because I'm getting old, y'all. I'm starting to forget stuff. So I got to take me some ginkgo, whatever that stuff is, to get my memory all together. But definitely
write it down. I don't even trust my memory no more. I write everything down.
You write it down.
Kimara, not like Kimara though. Kimara be coming to dinners and stuff, like she be coming to fancy restaurants with a notepad taking notes.
2 notebooks. No, she had 2 notebooks.
Keep it thorough.
It's 9:03. Let's let the ladies go. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue this conversation. Let us know if you guys want to come through and continue to talk about some of these things on Friday. Like I said, it's going to be a multiple episode with it. Sounds good. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Peace, ladies. All right, that's what's going on. We're going to get out of here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Man, as you see, this conversation is going to continue. That's what we're here for. We're here to get down to the bottom of things and to have a community conversation. If you would like to join the conversation, of course, join the chat. We're also working on a phone line for you to call in. So stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's really what this is, man. As I always say, conversation rules the nation, and we're just trying to figure some things out. We're just a couple of artists, couple of musicians in the community who cares about the community, are from the community and want to see the community do better. So we can't get into, the lofty thoughts of, man, we're a couple sevens, man. If you don't know what that means, then we got a lot of work to do. We're talking about.
I'm trying to deliver some record players and some records over to these cats in the towers, but we got to get them beds first. We got to get them places to live first.
Man, places to eat, you know what I mean? So until we can do that, we're gonna keep on working and keep on with the conversation. So appreciate everyone for joining the conversation. As always, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Even after these cameras go off, please continue the conversation. If you know who to call, please make some calls. If you have some emails, please send out emails. Let's just do what we can, everybody, together, because teamwork makes the dream work. And again, this is First Sky Omaha. Paul B, take it away.
First of all, man, I see you got something on screen. Did you want to show that before we get out here, or you just researching?
Oh no, this ain't nothing, man. This is just where I got Scott Lang's number from.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Well, then on that note, we'll get out of here. We're already running a little bit late this morning. We want to give thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and thanks to you, the chat chimers, for allowing us to speak with you. Thank you, the ghost listeners, as well. And Brother Terrell McKinney and everybody else who's a ghost listener that felt super compelled to jump on and say something, even though they were a ghost listener. I love when that happens. Ghost listener couldn't help himself that time. He had to jump on and say something.
Man,
we will definitely talk to Brother Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, and see if we can get him on Friday to continue this conversation. Thanks for indulging our conversation on these things. It's a little different format here on season 5. We used to do multiple headlines, but now we got to make our own headlines and start really talking about the things that's going on in our neighborhoods and treat it like front page news if we were a newspaper. As you can see that we're questioning whether or not we're even being effective out here at First Sky Omaha. We really need your feedback on all those things and what we can do better in order to better affect our neighborhoods. In order to better attract the people who want to also support this and to be a part of what we're trying to expand to do, which is to train journalists and form the biggest reporting gang in the country to talk about what's going on in our neighborhoods. So let us know if you have any ideas on that. We'll continue this conversation on Friday. Is that little mama? That little mama? Man, she got big. Hey, how you doing?
Say hi.
Oh man, that's a trip. Time is flying, brother. Time is flying.
The smallest one, she's walking and talking and kicking up dust already too, man. So
wow.
Yeah.
She's like, where the cookies and stuff,
man. But this is what it's about, man. This is what we do it for, y'all.
Yeah, do it for the fam. So right on. Appreciate all of you guys. That woman says, glad you're back. Drink your water, read your comments, and be good to yourselves. Yeah, go back and read these comments for sure. We missed a lot of them for sure. Let it really heavy comments this time around. I really appreciate that. We need that. Pop says, awesome show. First Guy is back in full swing. See you Friday. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, Pops. We absolutely will. Again, thank you very much. Look, Mama God says talking to her granddaughter. I love it. That's what's up, man. That's what I love it, man. That's what we do it for, as fam, for sure.
Yes.
So appreciate that. You got me thinking about my man's here, little man in the house.
The dude. Shout out to the dude, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be a monster on the court.
Oh yeah.
We'll see you guys Friday. Thank you again very much for tuning in with us and being a part of this. We'll see you Friday. Peace.
By the way,